This is now loading for the week of May 27th, 2013. The highly anticipated sequel to Grid is finally hitting both the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 courtesy of Codemasters this week. The original game garnered critical reception upon its release back in 2008, and the sequel is shaping up to be more of the same, which is obviously a good thing. The game sets you off to race tracks across numerous real-world locations, including landmark US cities and Paris. The vehicle selection spans more than 4 decades, and the control scheme has been modified to present an even mix of realism and accessibility. In addition to the game's deep campaign, it also offers an extensive multiplayer experience courtesy of Codemasters' RaceNet service, which is a consistent stat tracking service that links all of their racing games together. RaceNet will deliver weekly challenges and updates that will keep the experience fresh for a long time after launch. Insomniac Games, best known for the Ratchet & Clank series on the various PlayStation platforms, is releasing their first multi-platform title this week with the third-person shooter Fuse. The game, which was previously known as Overstrike during its early development, puts players in control of a group of misfit agents known as Overstrike 9. This team has to work together to stop the devious Raven Corporation from taking control of an alien substance known simply as Fuse. Early on in the adventure, the members come to possess a set of unique weapons that have been crafted using Fuse technology. Needless to say, in true Insomniac fashion, the weapons will quickly become the stars of the show. In addition to a full campaign, playable with friends or alone with AI-controlled characters, the game also packs in the addictive Echelon mode, which is something like the Horde mode that's become popular in things like Gears of War and Left 4 Dead. Playing the game, I found it to be a mesh of Gears of War and Bulletstorm, putting the focus on the cooperative aspects of both games and encouraging you to do stylized kills to earn experience. Our reviewer thought it was a solid adventure, but one that you definitely need to bring friends along for. Unfortunately, the rest of the gaming press haven't been so kind. I seem to have enjoyed the game more than most of them did, and found the overall fun factor of the game to outweigh its various technical hiccups. I don't know about you, but I absolutely love it when developers mix together a bunch of different game genres. Even when the results don't turn out to be the greatest, it's still fun to see them experiment. Well, this week, one of my favorite developers, Zen Studios, is blending a bunch of game genres together with CastleStorm on the Xbox Live Arcade. Imagine taking Angry Birds, throwing in a healthy dose of tower defense or tower capture, mixing in a little hack and slash with some role-playing elements, and then adding a healthy dose of building with Legos. That is what this game is about. It's the best of all these worlds as you pick a side in an ancient war between the Vikings and the Knight, and you set off to take down your enemies' castles. You will need to build your castles, from scratch a few cues, and then take heat to your enemies from a distance using your trusty catapult, all while managing an army of ever-evolving troops, and even heading out onto the battlefield yourself to get up close and personal if need be. Now, reviews and details about the game are under a strict embargo until tomorrow, but trust me, you'll want to check this one out. When it comes to news, all eyes were on Microsoft this week as they officially revealed what is known as the Xbox One. The new console will launch sometime before the end of the year, likely in November, and begin an entirely new generation of console gaming for the company. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the technical numbers. Obviously, the technology is bigger, better, and much stronger than that of the Xbox 360. What I am going to talk about, however, is the fact that the announcement of the new system wasn't all unicorns and rainbows for Microsoft. The reveal actually drew the ire of many gamers due to a couple controversial features of the console. First off, while the system doesn't have to be connected to the internet 24 hours a day as previously rumored, it does require you to check in with Xbox Live once every 24 hours. This check-in will be used to validate the content on your system and make sure that it is tied to the Live account that is installed on your system. Also, Microsoft seems to be going on the offensive in the war against used games, as the Xbox One requires players to pay an activation fee for any non-new games put in the system. All games must be installed to the game's 500 gig hard drive in order to function, and once a game has been installed for the first time on your system, the next system that disc goes into will not be able to pay it unless either your account is signed in on it or the user pays an activation fee that unlocks the content on the disc. Lastly, many gamers are concerned that the Xbox One features what is basically the equivalent of Kinect 2.0, and this new camera is required in order for the console to function. It will always be on and it is always listening. Now this is raising some serious privacy concerns with users, as the new camera is designed to listen to any vocal noise in its vicinity. Now, while Microsoft isn't going to record your private and personal conversations and share them with the world, what scares people is the fact that they basically had the ability to do so. It's worth noting that the gaming aspect of the system wasn't really shown off during the initial announcement, and that's being held off until the E3 conference, which begins on June 11th. You can expect a lot more details and gaming related specifics to be revealed at the show. As always, for more information on all these and more, including the full lineup of this week's releases, be sure to head on over to GamingNexus.com.